I'm a big believer in giving back. We've thrown parties a lot. We went public July 2021. At that time, we were valued at approximately $2 billion at that time. I don't even think it's called Gen AI, but whatever. Did I just give away an idea?
I think you just gave someone like $50 million just right there. I'm nervous about this because I don't know if you're gonna answer it, but I have to ask, how much are you getting paid as a CMO right now? In this episode, I'm talking to Dux Sy, CMO of AvePoint, an advanced platform for SaaS ops and secure collaboration. They have over 21,000 customers and over 10 million cloud users. They IPO'd in 2021 at a $2 billion valuation. We're gonna talk about number one, the importance of data, and why Dux believes everything in marketing can and should be measured. And of course, how. Number two, we're gonna dive into AvePoint's top 3 marketing channels: events, digital, and comms in this order. Particularly, we're gonna dive into how they make events a profitable B2B marketing channel in 2024. And number 3, we're gonna try to figure out all the little things like how much money they make in revenue per year, how much they spend in marketing per month or per year, and of course, we're gonna try to figure out how much Dux gets paid as a CMO. And every time he can't answer a question, as usual, we're gonna take a shot of delicious but spicy hot sauce from our sponsors. Wish me luck, Martians. I hope you enjoy this one. Hello, Martians. Welcome back to another episode of Marketing on Mars. Today, we got the Chief Brand Officer, used to be the CMO of a company called Ave Point. He's been there for 10 years now. Ave Point basically is the most advanced platform for SaaS ops and secure collaboration. They have over 18,000 organizations using the platform, over 10 million cloud users. Dux Raymond. Do I say Dux or just Dux Raymond? What's your preferred?
Yeah, you call me Dux.
Dux.
They stuck Raymond in there. My parents did because they figured growing up, Dux, it'll be a hard name or kids will make fun of me, which they did. So
such a cool
call
name.
me Dux.
Like it's like a rapper. It's like a rapper. Which, by the way, you told off camera. You said you used to freestyle in front of the clubs or whatever. Like, what's that all about? Was that your previous?
Dude, that was
career?
like 10 years ago where, think about marketing. How do you stand out? How do you get attention? So I figured, why not freestyle at a tech conference in a club? And then a few years later, I opened for John Bon Jovi, but you'll find that on YouTube.
That's wild. So wait, so you freestyle as in like, so when I think freestyle, you get a mic, you get a few words, and you just freestyle, you just rap for like.
Yeah, I did this. I did this little ditty. You know SharePoint, right? You're familiar with SharePoint technology?
Yeah, SharePoint. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's called SharePoint is Nice Baby. So it's like a Weird Al version of Ice Baby, but SharePoint's Nice Baby. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Anyways, we'll get into your. I would love to dive into your background a little bit. We'll talk about AvePoint. Obviously, we'll talk about marketing and all that. Mm-hmm. Before we do any of that stuff, the theme of the show is we're going to start off with a shot of hot sauce, and as the show progresses, I'm going to ask tougher and tougher questions on how you do marketing. And every time you can't share any tips or secrets or whatever, we take another shot of hot sauce. So let's start off.
Game.
I got good looking hot sauce. The guys over here, Brandon, sent this over to us. I got a 1 out of 4 chili pepper hot sauce. So I'm going to start off light and then I'll work my way up. Sure. I have like a few other ones. What do you have today? What's your weapon?
All right. So let's start with the basic, right? So I got good old Tabasco, which really is not hot sauce.
Start off light.
And then we got this ever reliable sriracha, right? Red pepper sriracha. And then let's go with the pipicha verde. This is actually pretty good.
Is that a habanero or?
Yeah.
Habaneros,
yeah.
Okay, that's good.
And then I've got this Haunted Harvest.
Is that also habanero or does it go up?
No, it goes jalapeno pepper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So all.
And then this right here, one drop. Murder Hornet.
Oh my god. What is that? Is it ghost? Oh
Yes.
shit. Okay.
Red and ghost pepper. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you do that, I will have to follow. But let's start off light. Like I'm gonna pour this first
Sure.
one, which is I think it's jalapeno. I'll start off with jalapeno.
Yeah. So Tabasco is red pepper, right?
Yeah.
All right. So how do you do this in your show? It's like a shot glass or what
I
do you?
do a spoon.
All
This is
right. I'll
actually
do spoon.
my cereal spoon. So I like to put hot sauce in my
Okay.
cereal sometimes.
Okay.
No, I don't. That's gross.
And we chase it down with some food, right? Like chips or.
I will just go without chips. I was just eating it
Okay.
off camera because I poured a little bit just to start. We don't have to go hot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same. Same. All right. Cheers. All right. It's a good starter.
Yeah. This nice little punch in the tongue. It's a good one.
So wait. So you have what? Frank. It's called Frank's hot sauce.
We have Frank's. Yeah.
Is that your like sponsor
Oh
or?
no, this one is good looking. Good looking.
Oh, good looking. Good looking. Okay.
Yeah. Uh,
Are they your sponsor?
there are they recently came on as a sponsor and honestly I tried some of their stuff. Very delicious hot sauce. It is spicy, but it's like actually delicious. Like there's a difference.
Tasteful,
Yeah, there's a
right?
difference between just straight spice
Yeah.
versus delicious. So their stuff is actually very tasty.
Good looking. Okay, I'll look them up.
Yeah. Okay. Before we do any of that stuff, let's dive in. Want to talk a little bit about your background. Um,
Sure.
the guys at home can follow along. I'm just on your LinkedIn right now. You've kind of started off in IT, like you're an IT engineer, and then you kind of moved from there. You worked at like SharePoint. You were an event chair there, and you worked with Microsoft for a little bit. Microsoft for startups as a mentor, um, and then but the last 10 years, you've been at AvePoint for 10 years now, starting off as VP, then CTO, then CMO, and then CBO, Chief Brand
Mhm.
Officer. Walk us through your career and how you see your career kind of shaping up, like if
Sure.
you were to tell the story.
So I have a confession to make. No marketing background at all, like no formal marketing background. So sometimes when I get into these events or roundtables with chief marketing officer
Hmm.
or marketing experts, I just get that imposter syndrome, right?
Hmm.
But my background, so I started my career as an electrical engineer. My background's in electrical engineering. I used to code chips, Motorola chips in assembler. And my first job, I was working for a small German company called Siemens. And so, yeah, I was an engineer back then. And I realized a little, maybe a year in or so, I realized, well, I love tech, I love coding, I love to be in front of people. I love to grow businesses. So I had a few startups back then, and I lived in Atlanta. I started a consulting company with a business partner of mine, and what we did is we just did IT consulting,
Hmm.
and we would build systems, and we started doing it based on the Microsoft technology. And at that time, Microsoft has this web technology, which eventually became SharePoint, and we would build intranets. So that was my jam. I would build and work with customers, be it commercial, public sector, small, large. But then as I started to grow the business, there were two of us, there were three of us. I realized, well, technically, I may be an expert, but I don't know sales, I don't know marketing, and the only way for my business to grow is I have to be out there.
Hmm.
I don't have endless budget.
Hmm.
So I wrote a book for O'Reilly Media. I don't know, Simon, if you're familiar with O'Reilly. They used to
No.
be the biggest tech publisher, tech book publisher. They're still
Hmm.
around. So I wrote a book called SharePoint for Project Management. While there's a lot of technical books out there, this book focused on the business audience, the project management audience, essentially highlighting that, hey, elevate your project management game. Don't just use email and Excel. You can use SharePoint. You don't have to use all the complex tools like Primavera or Project Central. So that's kind of how my journey started in this industry. So after writing a book, I got invited to speak at events. I'm out on
Hmm.
social. And that kind of helped grew my business.
Mm.
And then during that time, that's where I met Ave Point. So Ave Point, we're a publicly traded company, as you shared. We build the most advanced platform for SaaS operations, security collaboration. So we have technologies that help customers using Microsoft 365, Google Workspace,
Yes.
Slack,
Yep.
Salesforce, to make sure their data is secure and well governed. So we have tons of products around that. So that's where I met AvePoint throughout my career. And yeah, I joined AvePoint 10 years ago in their public sector business here in DC.
Still there.
And a few years later, had the opportunity to be a part of marketing, which really humbled me. I had to learn a lot. And now I'm the chief brand officer.
So you've been doing marketing for, like you said, like not too long, but still 6-7 years that you've been doing marketing since
Yeah.
2017.
Yeah.
What have you learned? Like, what are some of what is your top, like if someone were to say, what's the secret to marketing in B2B? Obviously that's a loaded question, but do you have like a North Star that you follow, like a kind of rule or like a principle that you follow?
So before I was in marketing, I'm sure I'm not alone in this thinking, but I thought, how hard could it be, right? First and foremost. Wait, that Tabasco is just.
Didn't ask any hot sauce questions yet.
I know. No, I haven't drank water. I just that Tabasco. Okay, so prior to marketing, I'm like, marketing's easy, no big deal, right? So there's that stereotype, and there's also the stereotypes like, you're only marketing. What do you know, right? Like you make stuff up.
Yeah.
But now in marketing, there are 3 key things that I've learned. Number one, to be effective in marketing, especially in this space, tech B2B, you have to know your business. And I think the reason why I'm enjoying this and I bring a lot of credibility, I'm a technologist first before a marketer.
Yes.
I can code to this day. I can talk to you about AI. I can talk to you about, all the different APIs, how remote all these access control works in the cloud, et cetera, et cetera. So you got to be authentic and really know your stuff. It doesn't mean you have to be technical, but if you're a marketer in the tech industry, you got to be technical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Second thing I learned, and this is from the tech side I bring into marketing, everything can be measured. Oftentimes people tell me, you can't really measure brand, it's just because at the end of the day, we're spending money. So if you're telling me you need to spend $1 million on some ad campaign, what's my ROI? Well, how do you measure stuff like a billboard on the highway? I go, you can measure.
Yeah, you can.
So for me, you can measure brand, and later we can talk about this. There's, in my mind, 3 key metrics of brand, and I can go into how do you actually measure these things. So everything can be measured, even in marketing. So that's the biggest lesson I've learned. And number 3, in B2B, it's not a one-size-fits-all anymore. And what I mean by that, coming into this role way back, even before CBO, being a chief marketing officer, oftentimes in B2B, especially in a small growing company, we always just look at lead generation. Every dollar I spend has to have so many MQL and SQL, right? Which is fine. And this is important. And we still need that today. But then the buyer has changed. So the third lesson, the third tip is, in marketing, regardless if you're in B2B, B2C, small, large, you got to look at your audience. Because, for example, in your audience of let's say you have a total addressable market, at any given point, only 4% is thinking about buying. And the irony is we always focus on that 4%. Let's go to an event. Let's do a webinar. What are the conversions like? But what about the other 96% we don't pay attention to, right? So that's something a lot of marketers have to think about.
Right.
And frankly, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to spend more money. You just have to be smart on how you invest and engage with all the other audience.
Yeah. Because even if those 4% are ready and they're your captivated audience, they're ready to buy and they want to buy, there's so many other factors that you can't control that's stopping them from buying anyways. So there's so focusing all your time in that 4% doesn't really make it. Yes, you do have to do it, but the 96%, maybe half of that 96%, maybe like 48%, they just need 1 or 2 things to get them to that 4%. And
Exactly.
that's what you need, and that's what nurturing is about. So I'm sure we'll talk a lot about that.
Yeah. So there's the whole buyer journey in the different personas, right?
Yeah.
Just look at a B2B buyer journey. There's like 5 personas. I mean, Horizon Scanner, Explorer, and then also there's the customer, right? We always fail to realize it's easier to upsell to existing customers
Yeah.
and make more money off of that than trying to get new customers to buy from you.
Exactly. Okay, so let's try to understand. Let's talk about AvePoint a little bit, because obviously this is a company you've been working with for 10 years now. Um, to get the audience to understand the scale that AvePoint is at, can you give us some metrics? How much money you guys have
Sure.
raised? I know you guys are a public company. How much did it go public
Yeah.
for? And then also like revenue figures. Can you disclose? I have some online that I roughly see, but I don't know the exact figures.
Yeah. So we went public July 2021. At that time, we were valued at approximately $2 billion at that time. Obviously, with the market changing, all that market cap varies,
Mm-hmm.
and we're listed. Like I said, it's the most advanced platform to optimize SaaS operations, security, collaboration. And boy, I would say in the last 10 years, we've grown a lot. But in the last 2 years, especially going public with how the market's changing, we're growing so fast. Um, we serve over, we just did our earnings report last week, so we've updated some numbers. We serve over 21,000 customers
Oh, wow.
globally.
Okay.
Like you mentioned, over 10 million cloud users. Our customers are pretty much all industries, from highly regulated industries, public sector, finance, healthcare, to commercial industries, retail, manufacturing, transportation, and all sizes. And the way we go to market is we have our direct business, where we have our sales organization working with customers directly. And then we have our increasingly growing partner ecosystem through our indirect channel. So we have partners worldwide that not only leverage our technologies for their customers, but also we have managed services partners as well that takes care of what we would call medium to small businesses. We're in 17 countries or across 25 offices globally. So,
And then in terms of revenue, I saw online,
yeah.
just did a little bit of digging. I saw that you guys are like somewhere between 150, I've heard 150 to 250 million revenue.
Yeah, as of December 31, 2023, our total ARR, recurring revenue, is about 265 million. So
265.
year over year growth of 24%, right around 23, 24%. Yeah.
That's crazy because you guys are growing, but then because of the stock market, you guys kind of got hit with the stock market,
Yeah, just like everybody
which is
else.
everyone
Yeah.
else is facing the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you guys deal with
But the
those?
market aside,
Yeah.
from what we see from our business, it's growing, right? And then we're bullish about this year as well. And obviously, with Gen AI and the need for data quality and data security, that's where we come in.
Yeah, that's so cool. Okay, so 260 million ish in revenue. How much of that, like, what's your annual marketing budget right now? Like, this might be the first hot sauce question, but like, how much are you guys spending per year in terms of marketing?
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be a hot sauce moment.
Yes. Yes, I'm
Because
excited because I was looking at my hot sauce. I really wanted to try this one. It's like
okay,
cayenne, you handle it. That's
Cayenne handle it.
cayenne, you handle it.
Oh,
That's
is it Kanye or Cayenne? Or?
no, it's supposed to be can you handle it, but it's cayenne, you handle it.
Got it.
Yeah,
Play on words.
yeah. Yeah. Okay, Okay, so you're gonna go up. You're gonna go to sriracha. Or
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do
okay,
sriracha.
all right.
Sriracha. So people know sriracha. The last
Oh
three I'm gonna save it.
my shies. I just poured the whole freaking spoon.
I mean, you can edit it. People won't know, but you won't edit it. So
No,
okay,
it's not what my mom taught me. All right, we're gonna
don't waste food. All
waste food.
right, cheers. Enjoy. Do you want a drink? Do you need it? You need water or something? Oh no!
Oh, that is so spicy. Oh, and I did a whole spoon. I cannot handle it. This is bad. Whew. I'll stop talking.
You want more chips?
I might do some chips. Yeah. All right. So we can't talk about like a marketing budget. What about the channels that you're spending it on? Do you have like a breakdown, like what percentage goes into what? Yeah.
I think if I were to, so how would you categorize channels? Because I want to make sure we're using the same language. Digital, events, media, like what do you think?
I think however you, but I'm thinking all those, yeah, just however you bucket it out. PR, digital, social, I don't know, partnerships,
okay,
events, all that stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, so if we were to bucket it in maybe 5 buckets, right? So okay, here are 5 buckets. Events, and I'll get back to that. Comms. So comms, you think PR, media pitching, paid social, right? So events, comms, digital. So start thinking about paid media, PPC, media buys, content to some extent, right? So if we need to spend on, I don't know, thought leadership content, reports, what have you. And then lastly, like partnerships all over the place. So I would say
5 buckets.
What's that?
5 buckets. 5 buckets. Events,
comms, paid media, content, right? And then partnerships.
Okay, so if you were to say like percentage wise, what goes into each one of these 5 buckets without giving us a number, obviously. Just so we know where you're prioritizing your money.
Yeah, I would say events, especially these days, are back. So I would say that would be 30, maybe more, maybe about, let's just put it at 40%.
Okay, that's substantial. Out of 5, that's 40. Okay.
Yeah, so maybe 35, maybe at the lowest. So I'm just doing rough math on my head.
Yeah.
Comms, again, PR, I put analyst relations there. I put, paid social. That would be, so 30. Okay, let's do this. 35, 10. So that's 45.
Okay.
Digital. So digital is like PPC, paid media, media buys.
Yeah.
That'd be 30, right?
Okay.
So 30.
So then 45 plus 30, that's 75 already.
30.
So there's 25.
Yeah.
25 left.
25. Content stuff, comm stuff. So content, not
content and partnerships.
Yeah, content part 10, and then whatever's remaining is partnerships.
20% in partnerships then. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So when we think about partnerships, we do co-marketing with a lot of the partners around the world, our channel partners, hyperscalers, what have you.
Yeah.
And the partnership could be different things, right? Sometimes there may be a little events here, a campaign, what have you.
Yeah. I think if I were to say my stomach right now is probably 80% hot sauce and like 20% like milk from my cereal, probably.
Not a good mix. Not a good
mix. My doctor is like screaming at me, but okay, so in terms of partnerships, just because we just ended off at partnerships for the co-marketing and channel partner stuff, give us some examples of who you're working with. Like, what are some of the these
I can highlight a couple names. Microsoft, we do a lot of co-marketing with Microsoft.
Okay.
Ingram Micro is a big partner. They're a distributor out there. I'm trying to think who else, like some names. We do partnership work with Crayon worldwide. So we have a global partnership with Crayon. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Crayon, is that like for little kids drawing with crayon?
No. No. Crayon's a big IT. So they do a couple of things. They do services, managed services, consulting. They do distribution as well.
Mm,
So they're based out of Norway,
Norway.
but then they're a global company. Yeah, so just a couple of those examples.
I see. And then when you're budgeting things out for partnerships, 20% goes into that. Is that just like mostly events or like webinars,
Yeah,
things like that?
yes, all of the above. Plus, sometimes we would do customer appreciation type events because uh, while we're partners, we may have similar customers. So, yeah, events, I guess, customer appreciation, or things like summits we would do, or internal incentives, maybe, right? Incentives for our team and their teams. So just a mixed bag of stuff. Or
Mm.
we do some thought leadership campaign, etc.
I wonder if any of our CMOs, because we've had 85 CMOs and CEOs come on our show. I wonder if any of them are your customers. Maybe we'll have to go through them at some point.
Oh, I'm pretty sure.
Pretty
I'm
sure,
pretty sure
because yeah, a lot of these are like
because
enterprise, like
a good
enterprise.
percentage of Fortune 500 companies use our stuff.
Yeah, yeah. We'll probably go through them at one point. Is Zoom Info, like Zoom Info, just came on the show last week.
Um, I don't know. I have to look.
Okay.
They're like they do sales enrichment, right?
Yeah,
Like data enrichment
yeah,
type. Yeah.
yeah. Very big on data.
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, events. That's a huge, like that's the largest percentage of your spend right now, and
Hmm.
it's not surprising. Almost every single CMO that's coming on the show right now, they're saying the same thing. They're cutting their spend out in many different places, like digital, which is interesting. I want to talk about digital as well because you guys still spend 30% on digital. But quickly on events, and then we'll go over to digital. What kind of things are you guys doing with events that are working right now?
Sure. Yeah. So the way we look at events, we look at global, that pretty much applies worldwide, and then there's regional events for our different business units around the world. So big events. So let me set this up in a way where what we've seen,
Hmm.
and I'm sure you hear the same feedback. People are just done with online stuff. In the past few years, for example, simple things like webinar engagement, registration, attendance have declined.
Right.
But then our in-person events have picked up. So
Hmm.
from an event perspective, we would sponsor, for example, like big conferences. So since we do a lot with Microsoft and our technology complements what Microsoft does, we're in a lot of their big events. Microsoft Ignite, for example, is coming back. It's around November, Chicago. So they'll have tens of thousands of people there. So we'll be there, right? We'll be one of the sponsors. Um, and then our own events, we do a lot of customer events and workshops. And in fact, the first 3 months of the year, and I kid you not, Simon, starting the second week of January,
Hmm.
every other week I'm in a different country. I just did
Whoa!
my last leg last week. I was down in New Zealand and Australia, and I'm
Wow.
glad I'm back. But we see it because while the big events are great, we got to be
Yeah,
there. But the more intimate, regional,
for sure.
50, 100 people event, it's more meaningful to us because you engage more, you talk more, you build relationships better.
Yeah, it's I'm hearing the same thing. Cutting back on large event spends unless they are your true partners like a Microsoft where there's a lot more than just events that you guys are doing together. That makes sense. But cutting a budget away from the big conferences and then more 50 to 100 person, it's large enough that is manageable and you don't have to spend, an arm and a leg on production, but it is intimate enough that you can actually have conversations with whoever you want to have
That's right.
conversations with. So
Yep.
yeah, that 50 to 100 seems to be a sweet spot.
And here's another learning, right? So in the past, pre-COVID, an event can be, in a conference room in your office, or maybe a nicer business facility. But what we're finding now, even if we do in-person events, but the experience is not as unique, we find that it's not as interesting for people.
Hmm.
So one of the things, if we're doing intimate events, now obviously we can't do them all, but if we think, okay, we need to do a special event to bring customers in or partners in, we make sure it's experiential. So let me give you an example.
Yes.
Late January, we did a partner summit in German business
Mm.
where we invited all of our German partners. And boy, I'm so impressed, and kudos to my colleagues over there. They hosted it in a UNESCO heritage site in the largest what used to be the largest coal mine in the world.
Mm.
Amazing, beautiful venue. So we had a 1 day of sessions and food and dinner, but the setting is in an old, massive coal mine, and then we had a tour the coal mine underground, right? So we see those
Wow.
events that the turnout's really good. And then with customers, especially top customers, we would have one of the things I did in Europe a couple of weeks back. I was in Stockholm, Amsterdam, London. We have what we call co-pilot dinners. So
Mm.
imagine, so you're from a Copilot, Microsoft Copilot, their AI generated
Yeah.
tool. And customers want to learn about that,
Uh-huh.
how we can help them, how we can get their data ready. So we would invite top customers and partners, very intimate, to on a restaurant on top of the building, right? Or a winery, or like very experiential. And as we're having meals, there's no PowerPoint or whiteboard or nothing.
No.
Like we're having appetizer, I go, oh, what do y'all think about how you prepare your data? So it's like a family dinner,
Yeah.
and then we're having wines and good food, but very personal,
Yeah.
right? And it's just like talking about, oh, how was your vacation? It's still business, but experiential. And then we would have customers and maybe prospects, and then get them to talk to each other, right?
I feel like the world, 100%, the world is moving away from all the formality stuff. And
Yeah,
people just want to talk with real people,
hang.
just hang out. People just want
People
to,
want to hang. Yeah,
yeah. We just did an event. Actually, Microsoft was our sponsor. We did an event in Seattle, and we got 70 founders together, and
yeah,
we did it at one of the founders' condo, like common space. There
sure.
was a pool there that someone jumped into the pool, but it was just like a bunch of founders, and they just want to hang out. There were no PowerPoints, no slides, no pitch decks or whatever, no panels. There was a Wheel of Fortune game where if you spin it, you could potentially land on a shot of hot sauce. So we had two
Oh,
founders
great.
do a shot of hot sauce, but like do things that are fun. But at the end of the day, people want to come out to events for one thing, and it's to meet other people.
It's a connect.
That's it. That's
Exactly.
it.
Exactly. And I think, to me, that's one good thing that the pandemic did, is really, I don't know, lower the barrier down. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not Dux the CBO. Like, I mean, look, can you imagine a few years ago me wearing this, right? You're on your shirt. Nothing wrong with your shirt, right?
Hey,
But
what's wrong with my
there's
shirt, dude?
this,
It's a
no,
nice
it
shirt.
looks good. Looks
I'm just
good.
kidding.
It looks good, Evan. But this, even the term, I feel like B2B doesn't really mean jack, like business to business. Like,
What
what
is
does
that?
that mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So okay, side story, but related. So a few years ago, not maybe a year and a half ago, we were going to do this campaign. So we did this campaign called SaaS in Style, right?
Assassin
So
style. I like that.
yeah, look it up.
I like
You're
that.
gonna love this. So let me set this up. Where we we went public, and we're like, well, people have to know us. So we did this ad campaign,
Okay.
and when we're ideating and all that, there's a perception of how people should look at us. So we're remember, we're doing ads, and the ideas, I'm not going to name names, within our teams are like, oh, the video should start like New York City with a nice building, and then zoom into the conference room with computers. I go, dude, people are not going to look at it. We'll look just like Microsoft, AMD, any
Just like
like,
every other, just
no.
another Me Too video.
The goal is you need to grab people's attention. So working with an ad agency, we ideated. I said, I need to stand out. Can't look cheesy. Has to be sophisticated, but people should click on it, right? Imagine scrolling on LinkedIn. So we launched this campaign called SaaS in Style, and the team that produced it would produce like a high-end, high-fashion video. So when you watch this, you would think it's like a new Gucci line of clothing. And then in the end, and I'll share the link. In the end, there's this take of the fashion model. It's like, oh wait, this is a tech commercial.
Mm.
But once you look at it on LinkedIn, it was like, wait, this looks different. And then after we had that, we're talking about how to distribute this, right? So obviously we'll pump it on LinkedIn, blogs, blah, blah, blah. But I also said, this should be on TikTok. This should be on IG. And then again, some people are like, well, that's not where audience would be. I go, okay. After 5 o'clock on a Friday, the CTO of a company, when he or she goes home, I bet you that person will be doom scrolling on TikTok.
Yeah.
Over the weekend, they'll be on IG.
We're human. I think we have to stop thinking about B2B as different from B2C. Yes, what you're selling is different, and maybe your messaging has to be tweaked in a different way.
Sure.
And maybe there's some form of professionalism, which there's some form of professionalism on the B2C side as well. You're not gonna, take off your shirt. This is a nice shirt. But
no, don't take off your
my shirt. I'll get canceled.
Keep your show.
Yeah. But yeah, we got to think about it as like at the end of the day, it's people to people. It's people that are making the decision to pay. Until we get to the day where my AI robot is talking to your AI robot and they're making business decisions together. At the end of the day, it's me, Simon, talking to Dux, right? So,
and that's what I learned, right? Getting into this marketing is the first step is you need to get people's attention. And how to get people's attention? You got to be different. Different's not bad, right?
Be different. Yeah.
Yeah.
What has been the craziest event that you've ever ran where you're like, I'm so freaking proud of this, and people are just buzzing and saying this is the most unique thing, and I'll definitely come back? Like, can you give me an example in the last, let's say last 12 months?
Okay. So last 12 months. So back in November, we sponsored this big tech event in Europe. It's called ESPC. And this year it was in Amsterdam. Just like any tech event, you have a booth. I was speaking at sessions, what have you. And then we threw a fashion show fundraiser party. Okay. Because I'm a big believer in giving back. We've thrown parties a lot, but if I spend money, I want to give back, and people have a good time. So it's called the Red Party. We used to host this before COVID. And before COVID, it's a party. It's a cool, fun party. There's drinks, there's music, there's, performance, whatever. But this time I said, let's do fashion show fundraiser. And we support Girls Who Code to help with STEM education for women around the world. So this one was supporting the Amsterdam or the Netherlands chapter. So the idea was this, right? So I invited, and again, I'll share pictures with you. It's all online. In the conference, there's speakers and influencers and tech people. So I invited a couple that people know in the community. And I said, our theme is tech superhero. Okay? So think about what that means, right? You can dress up as Superman, but whatever. And the idea is this. In the party, if you get invited, this party's by invitation, so it's very limited.
How many people?
We had ended at 600 people in a little nice club in Amsterdam.
Okay.
And then if you get invited, Simon, you get a little token. That token is worth €1. Okay? You can buy more tokens. And that night, it's a fashion show, so all your tech superhero would walk down the party runway.
All 600 people were dressed up as superheroes?
No, not 600. Okay. There's about 10 of them.
10 of them. Okay.
Yeah, it's like 10 people from the conference, Microsoft VPs, and people know them. They're very visible in the ecosystem.
Okay.
So they walk down the aisle, they dress up and all that. And once they're done, everybody, this 500-600 people, they had their little tokens, and some of them bought more. I said, in the next hour, and all these who walked down the runway, the fashion models, they had a little a jug. You vote who you like based on the tokens you put.
And you can buy more tokens.
You can buy more tokens. So right there, we had a little iPad set up. They can buy more tokens, QR code. The money, I don't touch the money. It goes direct to Girls Who Code,
fundraise, right? It's a fundraiser.
Yeah. So that one night, it was like, I don't know, €4,000.
You guys raised for €4,000?
It's like we partied for like 4 hours. Yeah.
That is
I'm
so.
proud of that, right?
That's you see, that's so unique, right? Like no one has ever done that. I don't think if
No,
anyone has done this, they can comment and let us know. But I don't think anyone has ever done like it's the uniqueness of this situation that you want to hear another idea that I have that I really want to do.
go. Yeah, go.
You know Squid Games? I've been talking about it. Like our team
What?
listening is probably saying, you know Squid Games, the show?
Squid Games. Yeah, yeah, Squid Games. The Netflix show.
I want to do Squid Games, but just for like people in business, like founders, executives. And it's like the games can be very Squid Game-ish, or they can be mixed with Squid Games plus a little bit of business. So there's like a little bit of logic involved. But at the end of the day, um, it's Squid Games. But it's a if you die,
Cool.
then you go to the dead room and you just network there, and then you watch the rest of the people compete on a live screen, and it's kind of like
Dude,
a day event, like half day event.
this sounds like we should do something like this South by Southwest.
South by Southwest is coming up soon, though, right? That one.
Yeah, yeah, not this year. South by South. I think it's next week, but
Yeah. Are you going?
that's cool. I'm in.
Are you going to South by Southwest or?
No, I'm not. Unfortunately, I'm not. I'll be in Seattle next week for some Microsoft.
Yeah.
Event, but yeah.
Anyways, I was thinking very easy. We got 85 guests on Marketing on Mars. We could do that. I haven't done a single
Do
event
it.
with Marketing on Mars guests yet. I was waiting until we get to 100. I think we're at 89. Someone's going to correct me. Pat or Sophie will correct me. But I think we're at like 89, 90 episodes. We're getting close to 100. Once we hit 100, I think I might do we're at 88. Okay, we're at 88. But yeah, let's jam on that. All right. Back to the questions. Hot sauce question. You guys are spending a lot, events, comms, digital, content, partnerships, spending money, undisclosed amount, but you guys are spending money. Do you know how much it costs right now for you to acquire a customer? Like what's your CPA right now?
Nah, it's hot sauce.
Oh.
Hot sauce. Hot sauce. You see, being a public company, there's certain things I can talk about, certain things I cannot talk about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
All
up. This one is a mango me crazy.
Oh, mango me crazy. Mine's pipicha verde.
Picha verde. Do you speak Spanish?
I'm from the Philippines,
So
so
you kind of.
heavy Spanish influence.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Your accent pronunciation is good.
Oh shit. Okay, sorry.
Oh.
I put more than I should.
Okay. So this time is you. I poured a decent amount.
Dude, it's like a lot.
Yeah. It's okay.
Wait, I mean, this looks. I haven't tried this, but this looks horrible.
Oh.
No. All right, I gotta chase this down.
Oh, I love those. Wait, is that the Korean chips? No.
Yeah,
I think it was
I think my wife got it at Costco.
Korean and then they converted it into English. I think the original.
Oh yeah, it says product of Korea.
Yeah, the original is Korean. That's a good one though. I love that chip. My face is actually turning red. Holy smokes, that's not good. So you can't talk about that. What about like LTV?
Can't talk about
that.
Do we go again?
No. That's why I wanted to ask it now, so we can merge it. Yeah, we can merge it. It's the same question, two part question to one question. Yeah, because you guys went public. Now I don't know what because I know when a PE company is looking to buy a firm or looking to invest, they usually have a ratio that they're looking for, and it's usually 11 times. Like LTV to CAC ratio. I guess you can't disclose what your guys' ratios are.
That's above my pay grade.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Let's talk about paid. We talked a lot about events. Paid is your second largest channel, 30%. Events was 35% of your spend. Digital is 30%. what's working in digital for you guys?
Yeah. Um, a couple of things are working. So, still the traditional PPC, paid on relevant platforms like LinkedIn, media buys, right? Were in our industry. Well, let me step back. There's specific industries that media buys are really effective. So, for example, in public sector, for example, like government, it's very um, it's a captive audience because it's very specific to their industry. So we invest a lot in paid media media buys on that. Podcasts, we started doing podcasts where our audience listened to, right?
Sorry,
And
you guys
then we
have your
started
own.
looking
You guys
at
have your own podcast?
absolutely. It's
Ooh.
called Shift Happens. Make sure you spell it right, or else you get a different podcast.
Yes. I would have typed. I would have definitely mistyped that. But okay, you
Yeah.
started that in 2020. So that I thought that was your podcast. No, that's Ave Points.
Yeah, it's Ave Point.
Okay,
Yeah. So essentially I host it. The idea of Shift Happens is to talk about the shift in the digital workplace, and it's constantly shifting and evolving.
I love that.
I'm on episode 69 or 70 right now, so
Whoa.
a little behind the game.
Hey, no,
We
that's.
could do a joint event, man.
Should we do a Shift Happens Marketing on Mars Squid Games?
Yeah,
Dude, bring
that
out
would be
your
great.
65 guests, 85 guests plus. I also have a group. I don't know if I told you last time. I have a group called Happy Hour, just
Mhm.
founders from pre-seed to Series B. So they've raised,
Oh, perfect.
yeah. So they've raised $1 to $30 million. That's actually the event that I ran in Seattle. That was sponsored by Microsoft. Um, so we can have Marketing on Mars, Happy Hour, Shift Happens, Squid Game, one day. CEOs,
Perfect.
founders, or and CMOs, right? Kind of thing.
I mean, look, man, one of my guests at Shift Happens is the CIO of Estonia, the country of
Oh my
Estonia.
god, how'd you get? Wait, Estonia? Aren't they like really big on Bitcoin? Is that them? Are you into Bitcoin?
I'm not into Bitcoin.
Oh,
I don't know, but they're big in digital. Like they're the whole country is like 99% digital. Like marriage license, you do it online. I think they're the first country who did digital nomad visa.
really? I think so. I heard something about Estonia. I hear about that a lot. A lot of expats there. Um,
Yeah, man.
okay, so digital, public sector is good. Podcast is good. When you mean public sector, what do you mean? Like government, healthcare?
Government. Yeah, government.
Okay. So you mean you're targeting the public sector with your ads?
Yeah,
Okay.
because a lot of our technology, like I said, is used by all kinds of companies, all kinds of shapes, and all kinds of sizes. However, because what we do is we protect data, as you may imagine, public sector organizations need that. So we serve public sector organizations worldwide. Obviously, U.S. government's a big customer. We do a lot with the Singaporean government, Europe, Australia. So yeah, so public sector.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So those couple of areas. Okay. You guys have like 18. Well, it was 18,000. Now it's updated to 21,000 customers.
Yeah.
Can you name like your largest? Can out of on top of your head, do you know what the largest client that you're working with is
Yeah,
currently?
I don't know if I can name the largest, but publicly, for those clients that are okay with us talking about them, for example, WPP, I don't know if you're familiar with them. They're, if not the world's largest media agency.
Mm.
Um, so we do a lot of work with them. US State Department,
So the
we
government?
work with
Is that
them.
the government?
Yeah.
You guys work with the
Yeah.
government?
Yeah, public sector, man.
Wow. Sick. That's sick.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, and who else? I'm trying to think. Oh, Singapore, right? So Singapore, a few years ago, we landed a massive cloud project, $40 million, and it's public information,
Yeah.
where we're essentially building, not building, but deploying a learning platform for the entire country.
This is so fascinating.
For
Like
to upskill Singaporeans. Yeah.
so you guys are based in it's a New York based company, right?
Yeah, yeah,
It's on the stock
yeah,
exchange and everything. It's on the
yeah. Our office is in Jersey City, founded
in
in Jersey
Jersey
City.
City.
Two guys in a library coding the classic.com story
Crazy.
from two people. The same two people are still here
Really?
in 2001. Two people now. We're around the
Who's
world.
that? TJ? Is that TJ?
TJ,
Okay.
yeah.
But now, but okay. My point is, you guys are based there. You guys, your roots are there. But you are like expanding into Asia, Singapore, Philippines. I think you
We're
were
everywhere.
mentioning. You guys are everywhere. Is the focus more in Asia now? Because I've been hearing a lot of news that like Asia, that area is growing. Their sales cycles are still pretty
So
decent. Like they're not getting hit with the recession that we're getting hit with. What are your
yeah,
thoughts? What
exactly.
are your thoughts?
So a couple of things. So the beauty of AvePoint is our founders TJ and Kai, when they started the business, they had the foresight. It's funny every time early in the early days when we meet investors, they're like, "You're the smallest, biggest company we know," because typically, even company our size, they may have presence in North America and Europe. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
But when we started our business, I think after the first 5 years around there, we start opening presence around the world. London was the first one, and then Munich, and then Melbourne, and then Singapore, and then Japan.
Wow.
So all this in key strategic places, we have local offices. And it's important for us because customers, while the nature of how they buy, fine, they could buy it online, but the larger the customer, they want a local team,
For sure.
right? They want a body that they can, or a group of people they can talk to.
Yeah.
And so that's what we did. So the business infrastructure has been there. We've been around almost 22 years, like 10, 12 years in, we're pretty much everywhere.
Yeah. And you've been so 22 years. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. We're the oldest tech company that went public, pretty much.
And you've been there for half of the company's life, like
Yeah.
almost essentially.
Yeah. And I knew a lot of the principles before that.
So what we like to do for the last 10 minutes usually is like to try to dive into your background. What makes Dux? What made Dux you? What were like, how did you grew up and upbringing and everything? But before we do that,
Sure.
wanted to ask one last hot sauce question. I'm nervous about this because I don't know if you're gonna answer it, but I have to ask. How much are you getting paid as a CMO right now?
That's a hot sauce one.
Damn it. Oh.
Maybe you got to get me drunk to tell you, but
I should have agreed to whiskey in the beginning when you mentioned it. Okay, so this is gin and juice, but in brackets there's a jur next to ginger, gin and juice, ginger and juice.
So if this is the last one, I'm going to do Murder Hornet. I've never tried this before.
All right, let's go. This is full 4. I think this is Ghost. Nope. It's not Ghost. I don't know what this is actually, but 4 out of 4 heat level.
Right. So I hope everybody understands. I've never tried this, and it's called Ghost Hornet. So I'm not gonna put a full spoon of it.
I'll do a little bit too. Wow. You can eat spicy, man.
Yeah, I'm fine. My doctor tells me not to. I already have what's that called? Acid reflux. But for you, I will, man. Like I'll keep eating this.
Wow. Next time we'll switch to what's your drink of choice?
What do you mean?
Like for alcohol? Yeah.
I like wines.
Wine.
But
wine
if
not.
You want to do what?
It was a joke. I said wine not.
Oh, wine not. Yeah.
That was a bad joke.
But
sorry.
Cocktails, espresso martini is always a go-to.
Nice. Espresso martinis. I've never enjoyed that.
Speaking of wine, do you like wine?
Not in particular. I'm into gin.
Oh, gin.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I like
I'm into
red
wine.
efficiency, like just 2 shots and
And you're
you know, like wine is like 2-3 glasses in, and you're like, am I feeling anything? And yeah, anyways, yeah, weird.
gotta watch. I don't know if you watch the show Drops of God. Really good
Drops of God.
on Apple TV.
No,
It's
what is
it's about wine, but even if you don't drink wine, you will like it. You will appreciate
Drops of God?
it.
I mean, wine was created by Jesus.
Yeah, I guess turn water to wine. Yeah,
something like that.
but has nothing to do with that though. Has nothing to do. It's not religious.
Is it going to show us real life footage of Jesus back in the day? Like
No,
AI
man.
generated?
Like I just told you, it has nothing to do with
Oh
Jesus
shit.
or religion.
Okay, just wine. Just
Did
wine.
you get drunk with hot sauce?
I'm feeling high. I'm feeling high from this. Okay.
So wait, I gotta ask you, how would you rate this show? Like I've watched a couple of highlights of your other episode. Is this a good episode, you think?
Oh man, I don't know. Like Pat and Sophie that are listening will tell you. But I honestly I enjoy every single episode. This is just me being like
PC.
Yeah,
Dude, you're being
but
PC.
not even PC. That like I like episodes where I can just hang and have fun, and this is exactly that. I would say like it takes a while, right? You're 60 something episodes in. It took a while to really get your flow, right?
Yeah.
I didn't get my flow until episode 50.
Mm.
I'm bad. I'm bad at this.
Imagine if we hang IRL. That'd be so much fun.
It would, yeah. We'll try to figure out a way. Okay, but enough about me. Listeners made it all the way through here. They're interested in you. So I want to learn a little bit about your background. How did you become who you are? You know, CMO of AvePoint, $260 million company. Not a lot of people get to the level that you got to. What would you say were like the biggest factors in your career success? Like, were there people in your life that you would thank for kind of your career and business success?
I think if I boil it down, there's 3 key moments in my life, right? So I think the first moment was, if this was a Netflix episode, maybe episode 1 to 3.
Okay.
Was my growing years in the Philippines. Born and raised in Manila.
Oh, born and raised in Manila. I didn't know that.
Born and raised in Manila. I moved here when I was 19. And I say that is important to me because I grew up in a multicultural environment. So I'm part Filipino, part Chinese. And the Philippines...
I'm Chinese. Where the Chinese thing going?
I mean, what part? What Chinese background?
Like southern Chinese, like Guangzhou area.
Oh, I'm Fujian.
Right? Okay.
So my grandparents on my father's side from Fujian. But anyway, growing a multicultural environment in the Philippines, it's like Latin America and Asia. Like, for people who don't know, Philippines actually stands out in Asia. It's like Latin America. So I get that good diversity, different culture, food, music, people. So I think that was pivotal. So it just opened my mind, right? And then part of that is being multilingual. So that was one of my first disappointments when I came here. I thought everybody spoke Spanish, but not really.
So you speak Tagalog, Spanish, English?
Not Spanish. So maybe Spanish, yeah, to get by. Tagalog,
Poquito.
Chinese Mandarin, because I grew up in that environment. English, and then sometime in my journey, I lived in Germany, so I speak German. And then I speak a dialect, Minahua, which is a dialect of southern part of Fujian. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm fascinated with languages too. I speak English, Cantonese, Mandarin, Spanish. I'm just kidding. Our team is gonna laugh at me. I can like understand a few of the words, but Korean. I'm picking up Korean nowadays.
There you go. 廣東話我識聽，唔識講。
哦，我都係。Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So I'm like kind of like conversational. But anyways, okay. So you got a very cultural background. What about your parents growing up? Were your parents very entrepreneurial?
Yeah. So I grew up lower middle class, big family, 7 siblings, same parents. I'm number 2.
Wow.
Yeah. And my dad's an entrepreneur. My mom, she was an accountant, but she stopped when I think after me or my sister number 3, because a lot of kids, right?
7 kids.
So
That's
dad's very entrepreneurial. So that has a heavy influence. And then I came here, the immigrant story, right? So I came here with $500. Finished school.
Why is it that every immigrant that comes to Canada always has $500?
Is that the $500 story? Literally, I had $500 coming to America.
Everyone says the same thing. I think that must have been a requirement back then. It's like you had to have $500 to enter.
Even in Canada?
I think so. My parents also had like hundreds of dollars, like probably even less than $500 when they entered.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom and dad entered kind of around the same time, and then it must have been a very tough time, right? My parents ended up divorcing, so I grew up with a single mom. Your parents stayed together the whole time?
Yeah, they
Okay.
did. They did, but my dad passed when when he was very young. He passed when he was 55, 56.
Oh, wow.
All of a sudden. But I was already here.
How old were you at the time?
When he passed, it was in 2004. I still remember, it's June 2nd, so 20 years ago. I'm 48 right now. So when I was 27, 28.
Wow. That must have been a tough
Yeah, the
time
crazy
for
part
you.
here, it's still vivid. I was
Yeah.
standing. I just walked out of work here in DC, and I got a call from my sister. She's like, heart attack. They're trying to take him to the hospital, but I just went to the airport straight.
Yeah.
And as you may imagine, long flight, right?
Where were you? Where were you at the? You were working. Where were you working at the time?
I'm here in DC, in Washington, DC. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I had my own little business now, so I was doing consulting.
Oh, at that time, yeah, consulting, right?
Yeah, at that time. But that was the second moment. You're asking about what are the pivotal moments in my life. So growing up, that multicultural background. The second was, again, sounds so passe, but the immigrant hustle. I can't put it any other way, right? Where no perfect country, but I do think this is still the best place. I've never lived in Canada, so I can't really compare. To thrive, like if you work hard, motivated, passionate, you can go places here, right? Despite what people say.
Love it.
So I worked in furniture stores. I did tutoring. I did everything, man. And but yeah, so that was the second part. I think the third part is just being open to learning.
Yes.
And I think if you're in tech, you have to.
Yes.
So I'm just so grateful being in this industry, because not only it forces me, but I really truly enjoy learning. And there's so much to learn. So if you're open to learn, not just to go online and read stuff, but to learn from others, I think, again, anybody can go places.
I love this. Okay, I'll ask you one last question and then we'll end off. But not because we want to, but because we're an hour in, but we'll have to do a part 2 at some point. I guess the question is, AI is the big buzz right now. If you were to, let's say, someone handed you like $10 million and they're like, Dux, start a company in the AI world, what kind of product or service would you create that you think would change the world?
I'm sure this is out there right now. Somebody's already thinking about it, but this is what I would call it, right? So now the cool kid on the block is Gen AI. If we can have a responsive AI technology, right? So how would that work? So for example, imagine, Simon, you wake up, you get a text or an instant message from some AI saying, "Hey, Simon, it's that time of the year. We need to plan for your professional development," right? And based on your profile, your work, your background, people you talk to, these are the conferences I think you should attend next year. Pick one. All right. Okay, I pick Adobe Max. All right. With Adobe Max, do you want me to register you, Simon? Sure. Register me. After the registration, well, Simon, based on everything you're doing, your goals, blah, 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 here are the sessions you should attend. Here are the people you should meet. Let me book it for you. Set up the meeting. Do you want hotel? Do you want airlines? On the day of, let me book your Uber. Do you need to take a guest out? Let me do dinner reservations. That is next level.
So this Gen AI would be actually I think there are some companies working on it right now where it's like a device that just listens into all your conversations and just knows your whole life kind of thing.
Yeah, it could be conversations. It could be, I mean, we got to start simple, right? So I don't even think it's called Gen AI, but whatever, responsive AI, proactive AI, whatever. But perhaps let's just make it tap into, like, you use Google Workspace,
Mm.
right? So tap into that because it could see everything: your email, your calendar, your expenses, hotel bookings, like make sense of all that, right?
Mm. Someone has to create that. That's awesome.
Did I just give away an
I think you
idea?
just gave someone like $50 million just right there. That's you're just a nice guy. You're just that nice. Well, dude, this was so much fun. Honestly, this was it was a pleasure having you on. Definitely gonna have you back on for round two at some point. Um, maybe like a collab with Shift
Yeah,
Happens.
yeah, I'll get you on. Shit happens.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's chat and talk about
yeah.
maybe Squid Game stuff. That might be
Dude, I'm
that would
game. We
be
got to do in person somewhere. Maybe we'll pick somewhere in the middle of the country to get everybody. Like,
insane.
I don't
It
know.
would be
Yeah.
insane. Anyways, Dux, pleasure having you on. Um, where can we learn? Like, where are you the most active for, so people can kind of learn more about your
Sure.
journey and stuff?
Uh, Hit me up. I'm Meet Dux on all platforms: LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, or go to my website, duxdux.sy, dux.c, my name.
Yeah,
So that's the URL.
and that's meat as in MEET, not like meat as in
Oh, no.
the
Yeah,
meat.
yeah. Yeah. MEETDUX, all my social profiles, but on the web, it's dux.sy.
All right, Dux. We'll chat soon.
Take care, buddy.